Sheamus has called out Roman Reigns for getting all of the TV time. Nick Aldis has claimed the NWA owe him money. And an ex-WWE name was backstage at AEW Collision. Find out who it was in a little tickle. Just in case you missed SummerSlam, Roman Reigns is on the television all the time. I don't know why I said that in that order, but there we go.
we learned that at SummerSlam.
We didn't know that before SummerSlam, but we certainly learned it after SummerSlam. But there's a superstar in WWE who he loves showing his disdain for things he hates. I'm thinking back to that clip a few years ago where he's around at Rusev's house watching Total Divas. No, we're not watching that, you know what. But our pal Sheamus has been speaking with the Mail online, and he's just been sharing his thoughts. I think it's what a lot of people are now thinking after SummerSlam, the way it went, what he feels about Roman Reigns in his TV time.
He's the best, isn't he?
He is a lovely guy.
He can get away with anything at this point, can't he?
Yeah. Kicking his heels up, doesn't give a toss, does he?
Speaking with the Mail online, he said he has a luxury of wrestling 5 times a year. You know what I mean? That makes a big star. Let's be honest, before he went away with COVID, people didn't give a poo about him. He was the big baby face who was wrestling Goldberg, and nobody really cared. Telling the truth. Obviously, there's the luxury of getting all the storyline time and everything. I feel like he's made the most of the opportunity he's had, but I feel like there's guys on the roster begging for that amount of time to tell their own stories, and that is one of the only things that's going. The rest of the roster needs storyline time too. With MSG a couple of weeks ago, they went 20 minutes over. So me and Theory had 2 segments, that's wrestling chat, which ended up turning into 3 small segments on the floor, so that's tough as well to go out and do that. It's definitely benefited him a lot, and Heyman and the story they have to tell, all within that family and stuff. But as I said, there's plenty of other people on the roster that could do with the storyline time as well. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying, he's not really having a full-on go at Reigns. It's more about how much time is being devoted to that storyline.
And maybe the lack of repercussion for when they go over, because we know it's sacrilege for any professional wrestler on these live TV shows to go over there a lot of time.
Well, the way that I've interpreted, I don't think they managed to go 20 minutes over. I don't think they just stayed on the mic for ages. I think the things got changed beforehand and they allotted them 20 more minutes. I'm guessing that's what he meant, because I don't think Roman Reigns was stood there for an additional 20 minutes.
It's all Vince McMahon's fault.
Exactly. I mean, he's completely right, but also to see it from WWE's side, it's bringing in a huge amount of viewers. It's the hot storyline. Let's forget what happened on Sunday night, right? Because it seems silly to be talking about it in this way now, but over the past few years, it's the story that has been drawing in viewers.
Exactly, absolutely. And it just feels like Sheamus. It feels like things are happening now where he's just like, I don't give a toss anymore. He was getting his momentum not sort of capitalised on after Clash at the Castle last year. He spoke out about that. He's spoken out about it here. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Sheamus now. Will the reports now come out that he's difficult to work with, like they always seem to do when someone says anything about backstage goings on in WWE? They're always difficult to work with after they say stuff like that. Hopefully it doesn't, because he seems like a thoroughly lovely guy, and his reasoning here in both the stories, both last week and this week, they're both justified for me.
Totally, I understand both sides, and I think he's completely right in that some people who deserve TV time aren't getting the TV time that they deserve. But also, if that's the big thing, then WWE need to capitalize on that. That is the big story. This is the excuse me, the Austin. I'm getting choked up here. I love you, Sheamus. This is the Austin McMahon of the modern era, isn't it? This is the big one. Yeah, it is.
I've never heard anyone say that before, but I guess it is.
No, it is. It's the focal point of the entire WWE in the same way that Austin McMahon was. So, and I think we'll look back in 10, 15 years' time and be like, wow, that was a really glorious time to be a wrestling fan. They told an amazing story there, except for SummerSlam. I don't know. I was
going to say, is there a way that Jimmy Uso can pull it around with you? Because it can't just be, I'm jealous of this man, because Roman put him in hospital, so he forgot about that part, didn't he?
I don't get it. I think it really did jump the shark. And that seems silly to be saying that after me just going, oh, I totally get WWE doing this. I think Sunday really did change it for me. And I was so underwhelmed. The whole thing's soap opera, but that was like a desperate soap opera twist, wasn't it? It's just, they'll never expect this. But actually it was like, oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Big plot hole. He went back to align with Jay to get it back at Roman, then Roman put him in the hospital, and now he helped Roman.
They can explain it. They'll go, oh, your main event, Jey Uso, why didn't I get that opportunity? It's like, oh, I thought we were past that.
You know what else I don't like, Adam? You know what else I don't like? Tribal combat, right? Nobody else from the family was allowed to get involved until Jay and Roman had finished their business, yet Solo and Jimmy were out there. What are the elders doing, eh? Just sitting on their fat asses doing nothing? Come on, Seeker. After, where are you? Bloody no, right? Anyway, Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam this weekend. We had news in video one about how his handshake with Cody Rhodes was totally unplanned, Adam, wasn't it? Just agree.
100%.
Brian Alvarez has been saying, despite speculation, this is Brian Alvarez mentioned that Lesnar is not taking time away from the WWE. This is noted on Wrestling Observer Radio. Meltzer later added that Lesnar is booked for Fastlane on October the 7th. What he can be doing, we don't know, because it really did, even though Triple H after WrestleMania, of course, said, no stories in the WWE ever finish. They are never ending. Ooh. It feels like that one really did finish at SummerSlam.
With Cody, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think that's done. I don't know what you do with Lesnar next. To me, I just want to see the Gunther match, to be honest. I want to see that. I don't know if that happens at Fastlane. If you hold off on that until a bigger pay-per-view than Fastlane. But yeah, I miss Lesnar when he's not there. Legit, I really do. I think he's he's such an attraction. He has this aura about him, and I love seeing him on TV. He's been one of my favorites for a long time. And I seem to differ from other people in that people thought that Lesnar was getting stale because it was rinse and repeat with his matches. You saw a Brock Lesnar match was a Brock Lesnar match. You knew exactly what you were getting. Lots of Germans, 1 F5, 2 F5s, maybe 3. But actually, I always quite enjoyed it. I don't know what it is. There's just something about Brock Lesnar that I don't really care what he's doing. And maybe it's the same as like when you know him watching as a kid and Hulk Hogan does the same match every time. He gets beaten down, he comes back, oh, boom, boot, leg drop. I feel that way about Brock Lesnar. I just don't get tired of him.
Yeah, especially now he's donning a cowboy hat and being a bit more sassy. I'm enjoying that as well.
It up. He's the perfect tweener, isn't he? He really is. Like a lot of people were saying the handshake with Cody. Oh, he's going babyface again. Nah, he's not. He's just Brock Lesnar.
Just being a manly man, showing respect, pa.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what real men do, apparently. I wouldn't be surprised after news story one on this video about Sheamus calling out the creative and whatnot if he got locked in a fight pit with Brock Lesnar. MMA rules, shoot rules.
Why not?
Lesnar just beating up Sheamus until he perishes. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. On the latest episode of K100 with Conan and Disco Inferno, former Impact World Champion Nick Aldis was asked about the NWA exit he did fairly recently and his thoughts about the NWA's Director of Talent Relations, Pat Kenny. And what was his answer, Adam?
He said, I don't want to air dirty laundry, but he showed his true colours, referring to Pat Kenny, of course, with my exit from the NWA. I don't want to get too into it, but they owe me money. It's probably never going to come. And Pat I felt betrayed by Pat. I'll just leave it at that. He's spoken very openly about his frustrations with creative and the general creative direction of NWA. Big shout out to Tyrus, by the way.
I was going to say, what's the issue with Tyrus versus EC3 as a main event match on a pay-per-view card? What's the issue there?
I don't know if there's a serious question. I'm not going to buy it. PW Insider also, of course, recently reported that there's high interest in Nick from WWE. He's been internally discussed for a producer role. Aldis said, I can't confirm or deny rumours of me going to or talking to WWE about heading back to the company, but I do happen to think there's a wide range of incredible merchandise available at WWE shop. I'm buzzing. He totally deserves it. You know what? This is going to sound dumb because I should keep up on this sort of stuff, but I thought the bloke was in his 40s. I thought he was like pushing 50 because he's got that air about him, hasn't he? He's like an old...
You know, I had an interview with him. I was like, I'm speaking to an adult here and I'm a child, even though at the time I was like 28.
But he's not. He's like mid to late 30s.
He's
now,
younger
right?
than
36
younger than most of the main event roster on Raw.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's been around forever, and he carries himself in such a way you think he was like on World of Sport in the 80s, don't you?
But I tell you what, as a producer, obviously you can piece a match together. It's a different sort of style, which is always valuable backstage at a wrestling company. But I think he could fill a mid-card role. Do you remember when Dave Taylor rocked up in the mid-noughties with Regal? just stone-faced, no joy, no enjoy. Just that could be him in the modern day.
Dave Taylor must have been about 48 at the time. We're talking about
Dave Taylor at his peak before he arrived, obviously, what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying? That role of just like the sour puss on the mid card. The sour puss.
I think it'd be fun in the Brawling Brutes. I was about to call him like
Butch on a
the
lead.
elder of the group, but Sheamus has got to be older than him.
Oh, Sheamus is older than Nick Aldis, yeah,
course.
big time. But that would be quite funny watching Nick Aldis trying to put Butch on a leash.
Yeah, I'm well up for that.
Why not? But whatever he does, I assume he's going to go there now. It seems like the talk is growing and growing and growing. But
Good
NWA, pay the man. Pay the man, NWA. We have an ex-WWE name backstage at AEW Collision over the weekend. It was this is per PW Insider, it was the former Performance Center coach, Kathy Carino.
Known as Alison Danger, you might remember her. She was with WWE in the Performance Center. Started there in 2021. She was released in 2022. She is the sister, of course, of Steve Carino, who's in WWE as a coach now. And there's a lot of speculation as to whether or not AEW are looking to sign her. I think she'd be really good for the women's division. So that's sort of what she did. She was really influential in the growth of Shimmer as well, and their products. So I think she'd be a good get for them. And yeah, good for her if she gets paid.
Oh, yeah, good for her if she gets paid. NWA, pay Nick Aldis. But that's it for video 2 of the news variety here on the Cultaholic Wrestling YouTube channel today. Go back and watch the video 1. I can't do this leading stuff, Tom. I'm not Tom. This should be Tom. I called you Tom there, didn't I? I did, yeah.
It's the beard.
I've got insomnia anyway. But yeah, content on channel over the weekend from SummerSlam. We had What Happened At. The live stream still there, yes?
Yeah, it's not been taken down
watched
yet.
in its entirety. WTF moments as well. A big old bloody juicy news video. List video tonight. I'm going to go and put my head down a toilet. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.